And big breaking news coming in on the power dynamics inside Pakistan. This is a CNN News 18 mega exclusive and inputs brought to us by our investigations editor Manoj Gupta. Pakistan faces a new power clash over Asim Munir's term as he is set to retire on the 28th of November. The PMLN government, led by Shehbaz Sharif, is reportedly preparing the 27th Constitutional Amendment to protect his tenure amid ambiguity over the constitutional recognition of the Field Marshal title. Now, PPP Chairman Bilawal Bhutto has confirmed that support will be given by his party for the amendment, which also includes changes to Article 243 concerning command of the armed forces. Sources say the amendment seeks to bring major mines and minerals under federal control, facilitating foreign investments from the US and China, affecting Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan, as well as Gilgit-Baltistan. That is the big piece of news that's coming in, where it seems that there is a consensus between the PMLN and the PPP to push for Field Marshal's extension. Asim Munir continues to handle the reins of the Pakistani administration. And I'm joined by my colleague Akanksha Swaroop on the broadcast to decode this further. So pretty much on the global stage, Akanksha, Asim Munir, for all intensive purposes, has been the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister, the Defence Minister and the Finance Minister of Pakistan when it comes to brokering all the foreign policy and strategic initiatives of Pakistan.
Right, Ayushman, these are inputs shared by Manoj Gupta, securities editor, and we were the first ones at CNN News 18 to report about tensions between Shehbaz Sharif government and the GHQ with regards to extension of Field Marshal, who, as you rightly highlighted, was supposed to retire this month, but there's clearly an extension that they are looking for. Is Asim Munir going to now retire or need a 5-year extension? Because Bilawal Bhutto Zardari of PPP has already taken to X to make that announcement that the PMLN is seeking the PPP support for the 27th Amendment. And under this, they will be amending Article 243 of the Constitution, which of course pertains to the command of armed forces. This is something that has been, of course, confirmed by the leader of opposition, Bilawal Bhutto himself, on X. At the same time, they are looking towards making another amendment through the 27th Amendment, which will look towards bringing the mines and minerals, which is a provincial subject, bring it under the control of the federal government. For mines and minerals contracts, as we all know, Pakistan wants a single federal entity to facilitate all foreign investments through the federal government. That, as we all know, has been promised in terms of contracts to the United States and China, locations of which being Gilgit-Baltistan, KP, Balochistan as well. The end of safeguard for the provincial share under the National Finance Commission will now happen, as Bilawal Bhutto Zardari has already declared. And this proposal will include setting up constitutional courts, restoring executive magistrates, and the matter of transfer of judges. But as you rightly highlighted, the most significant decision that now stands out is going to be the extension of the retirement of Field Marshal Asim Munir. What's extremely important to highlight is that currently under the Pakistan Constitution, there is no clarity with regards to what is the position of a Field Marshal supposed to state. Is it even in terms of the tenure? Should this be extended? What is the office and retirement? None of that has been clearly highlighted. But now with the support being sought from PPP and the 27th Amendment being invoked, we can expect an extension to Field Marshal Asim Munir and greater power consolidation under Field Marshal Asim Munir.
Right, and Akanksha, at the same time, given the fact that Asim Munir has brokered several crucial pacts between the United States and Pakistan, something that has helped the global community, in fact, bail out Pakistan, talking about the IMF bailout that they got. I think it was the 20th bailout in the last 5 to 6 years that Pakistan has got. This has all been done by Asim Munir. So clearly, for the entire globe and for Pakistan's strategic interests, he needs to be front and center.
And he is, because remember, even when you talk about this change or sort of bilateral reset between Islamabad and Washington that we have been witnessing, it only happened when Asim Munir arrived in Washington, D.C., broke bread with the U.S. President in the White House, and he was the first army chief to be hosted by the U.S. President to a state lunch. And that's when we've seen that reset. Of course, it was taken forward by the Pakistani Prime Minister, accompanied by the army chief yet again on the sidelines of the recently held we had all of the world meeting at the UNGA, and that's when they were also hosted by the US President yet again. And that's the meeting which played a very crucial role, Ayushman, which is when the contracts were given to US. And it's also China. Much has been happening under Asim Munir, as we've also seen this recent statement come in from the US President, who's gone on to openly declare that it's not just US talking about nuclear testing. Why shouldn't they go ahead with nuclear testing when you have Russia, China, even Pakistan doing so? So there is clearly a reset and a recalibration of their own strategic approach, not just towards Western powers or authorities, but also towards India, as we've seen what happened during Operation Sindoor, rather prior to Operation Sindoor, as far as Kashmir is concerned, and that speech that had been delivered by this hawkish army chief, and we all know how he is openly preaching for violence. So there are going to be a lot of concerns for New Delhi to look at if Asim Munir is now going to be consolidating power, and the government is not being very shy about openly admitting, as Khwaja Asif also could not openly deny the fact that their government has a huge role to play under the governance of an army chief. So it cannot be said that it's a democratic republic.
Absolutely. The entire brand that Pakistan's civilian leaders promote on the global stage, that they are a thriving democracy, it comes into question once again. Time and time again, it comes into question. But with Asim Munir leading from the front when it comes to its strategic, be it defense, finance, or even foreign policy engagements, Asim Munir being front and center on the global stage, the question remains, what kind of wiggle room or even negotiating power does Shehbaz Sharif or even Bilawal Bhutto have in the government? Asim Munir will be calling the shots, and clearly this entire extension will go ahead.